All right, welcome to the in-depth analysis. This is the portion of the show. If you're just now joining us and you didn't do the news and reviews, you should listen to them. They were funny. I like those. Those were quite good. But if you don't have the time, that's okay because we're gonna be talking about using psychology as a weapon.
No, it is a gift. It is a weapon.
It sounds like those sensational headlines. Will psychology be used as a weapon? Dude, did you know there's actually a PsyOps in the Army? Psychological operations. It's
Sure, that makes sense.
There are, yeah. What do you think they do? Because it sounds a lot cooler than it is.
Probably monitor the mental well-being of the soldiers and work on propaganda.
Yes, propaganda. That's basically it. Psychology. It's the offensive branch of psychology.
Oh, okay.
So we do things like drop flyers and shit. Like of like healthcare or like pictures of. Okay, this is crazy. In the Middle East, not everyone is really dumb, but a lot of them are because education is shit. It's not it's not their fault. It's just wow. I mean, compared to like Americans, and Americans are dumb. Like Americans are dumb, but compared to Americans, we look like brilliant geniuses because they're just like they've never had schooling. A lot of them, and this is just the portions I was in. But there are also some really smart guys that I made pretty good friends with. But anyway, the uneducated folks they were part of the Iraqi army, and we're training them how to do traffic control points at this one time on Ice House Gate, I think. Anyway, so we're teaching them how to well, basically we took an entire city and we were like, fuck you guys, and we just built a wall around the entire city, and because we got sick of their shit, and we were like, this is the thing that's gonna happen, and they got pissed, man. They were shooting at us while we were putting the wall up.
Yeah, probably.
Well, to be fair. Here's what happened.
Isn't that the premise of Red Dawn? Like, this country comes into America and just we're sick of your shit. We're taking over. Here's a wall
around it. And we were like, well, guys, just settle down. We're just building a wall around the entire city.
Just walling in. Wasn't that the Simpsons movie plot? They just walled off Springfield.
Yeah, we just got sick of their shit. What happened was we were paying one of the guys through the I guess some of that's classified, but basically we were paying this dude, right? And we ended up stop paying him because, as it turns out, he was taking the money and he was also still helping fuel a revolution, And we were like, okay, all right, you got to stop. And he's like, oh, I will. And then he didn't. And then we're like, fucking stop, dude. And he's like, no, I will. And we're like, okay, we're going to cut your pay by 10%. We did. And then he's like, oh, well, stop. And he didn't. And eventually he was like, fine. So we stopped paying him because it was worthless. And at that point he got pissed and he started actively, saying maybe we should fuck up all these Americans we see around. And so we got sick of his shit so much because he was sending out these truckloads of IRAMs, which are improvised rockets and missiles devices. So it's like a dump truck, but a super long one. Two of those linked together, full of rockets, and they would just park them outside of a base or something and just go to town. It was horrifying. So that sucked. We where we slept on the base was everyone had to huddle together in this one region so that we couldn't just out of range of these missiles. The guy was being a dick. So eventually we were like, all right. We're sick of this shit, man. We're just gonna literally wall you guys. Welcome to Fishbowl Town, bitch. So we just just made this 12-foot wall or something around the entire city with one entry and exit point, and we put a traffic control point there. And we were like, we are so sick of your shit, and they did not care for that. But anyway, I imagine they would. We were like, you guys are so upset. Settle down. Our tactic to settle you down is to build.
Don't get salty. We just walled off your entire city and restricted you to one entrance and one exit.
Which is what we did, yeah. We did. But we got so sick of their shit. We were trying to play nice by paying you money, bitch. Now we're just going to wall you in.
Now your entire city will pay the price.
They did not care for that. They shot at us all the time. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We got armed, we're fine. So one of the Iraqi army guys we were teaching at this control, and we call it Ice House, obviously, because chill, dude. But we were working there, and one of the guys didn't know this is what PsyOps was all about, was psychology as a weapon, so it's relevant. I had you've got these little pockets kind of in your ACUs, so your uniform on the shoulders, so you can reach them inside of body armor, right? And in one of those, I had pictures of my family back at home. So I pulled it open, and we were talking a bit. He knew pretty good English, and so we're just kind of bullshitting. We had to be there for 12 hours. So I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. What's life like where you're at? And he's like, shitty. Or his version was, oh, it's awesome, man. The desert's so cool. And then I was like, oh, that sounds pretty horrible. Well, here's my house, and so I show him a picture. And
why do they hate us? Why do they hate us?
No. Here's the thing. The guy was blown away. He's like, "What? I heard America was just full of trash in the streets." And I was like, I can't do that accent. I'm doing like an African thing now. I Savannah, trash in the streets.
Hasadiga Ibawai.
Yeah, you guys should go listen to that. Anyway, yeah. So this guy, he had a total. It's like how South Korea thinks that like we eat snow for a living and whatever. I don't know. Have you seen those propaganda videos?
North Korea.
North Korea. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Korea, right?
True Korea.
True Korea. Well, I showed him these pictures, and he was like, "Whoa, it's so lush and green, and like, what is this?" And he's like, "What part of the United States is this?" And I'm like, "Literally anywhere. Like,
Literally
this is
the
just
worst
the
part,
U.S."
Mississippi.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, it's kind of just this is how America is, man. Like, I was like, here we're in Arizona, here we're in Arkansas, here we're in Missouri. Like, we were traveling around. I was like, we're everywhere is like this. And the guy would not. He was like, well, he just kept looking at it and looking at me, like thinking I was trying to bullshit him. And I was like, no, dude. Like, what did they tell you? And he's like, oh, the America's like just destitute. Like, there's just prostitutes everywhere, and like it just all this like shitty propaganda about us. And I was like, dude, I've never seen a prostitute in my
That's
life.
called the Vegas Strip, and it is a shitty place to be. But beyond that,
Yeah, that's like a freckle on a body. Like you don't even unless you're looking for it, you're not gonna find it. So anyway, the guy was like blown away. Well, a lot of the psyops they do stuff like that. Like they show pictures. They're like, here's our actual towns and things like that. Like we're not fucking around. Or like if you talk to us, we will literally pay you money. Like you live in a shitty little house, we'll give you plumbing, things like that. So that's like psyops. That's psychology as a weapon. But we do that in the army too.
yeah,
But
we do it in gaming. We do psychology as weapons there too. In fact, this conversation started after we'd played Smash Brothers with our friends at the party. So there were 4 of us playing. It's like you, Brian, JT. No, there were 5. It's you, Brian, JT, Tim, and me. And we were all playing Smash Brothers at the same time because it's up to 8 players. And we started to notice that everybody had kind of different styles, kind of different like non-mechanical, non-skill-based tactics we would use that were more psychological in nature than like, counter the throw with the block or whatever.
What do you mean, like more of like an approach to the game?
Yeah, more of a sort of a meta approach. Like I'm playing against Pikachu, but I'm also playing against David. So here's what I'm gonna do differently. Or I'm playing against Jigglypuff, but also that's Tim. So here's how we're gonna react differently. So we kind of like if we'd been playing AIs, we would have played differently than we were playing each other. And because we knew each other, we kind of knew which approaches we were all going for.
Yeah.
Like for example, what was your kind of adjustment that you did when you were playing humans versus when you would have been playing AIs?
Well, like there's a few things I noticed. One is that I guess I'm more. I don't know if I'm more aggressive of a fighter, but I don't know I like to get in people's shit a lot, like get after people. But I'm not just anyone. So like I know David can beat me because you play the game far better than I do, and then I know that like I can beat Tim, but it's not fun for Tim. He gets really upset. He'll throw down the controller and like he takes it really seriously. And then and so really there's only 2 people left. There's Brian, who, and it's funny that how he played this. Like he approached the game in a way that he is like overconfident. Like he'd get in people's shit and he didn't care who, and he just starts swinging a sword as Link.
Yeah, he was like brash youth.
And you just get wrecked. And I was like, that's funny because that's how he's a little bit in real life. He likes to just jump in the thick of things and just start doing it. And he
just learns by failing until he gets good at it.
Even if he's and he bumbles around and like there's like a psychological protection that he's like, no, I'm good at this. It's just a matter of time. And that's objectively not true. He's horrible. He got wrecked, but it helped. It was like a protective factor for him to get better.
Yeah,
which was
he actually improved his game. It's like the same thing with Here's the Storm. Like he would just suck and go, all right, but I don't suck. I'm just new, and so he's very resilient to like discouragement.
Yeah, he like leapt in the middle of the enemy team all by himself and stuff. Like he was legitimately bad, but he's got a good approach to it. Like in the learning sense of like this is a learning situation. This isn't like a failure. But he also has this like confidence that's like I don't know, like a confidence that
like an optimism that like I'm gonna get better even though I have no reason to think I will, and then oftentimes he does get better, so like it's a self-fulfilling kind of confidence.
Well, and he does this in real life. This is pretty cool. Like he sometimes simplifies failures, and I think this is great, like for effectiveness. But like one time we were talking about statistics, and he was trying to understand. Well, I wasn't trying to understand. That sounds like he was failing, but I was talking about like multivariate statistics and how they're like just different. Like they're I'm not gonna get into it here. It's really
No,
boring.
it
But like we were
sounds
talking
really
about that.
exciting. Multivariate, yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you about it. But as we're doing that, like he's like, oh, I think I get it. It's like this, and he's reframing it, trying to understand it. And I was like, actually, it's more like this. And then and he's like, oh, I think that's what I was doing. It's just a little bit different. I was like, and like um, it would take a lot longer to explain multivariate in general. So like, he was underplaying his failures, which I think is great for psychological resiliency. So like for him, his gaming style is getting right in your shit, and then like take the failure and make it into small learnable things. It's like oversimplifying, but helpfully. I don't know. It was cool. So like I would engage him, or I'd engage JT, who is I don't know, brash. He's good. He got good fast, but I don't know how to explain it. Like I guess he was an easier target, but he wasn't so easy where you get upset. And then, like if you came after me
enough that it was a good fight.
Exactly. Yeah, but I don't know. How did you approach it?
So I'm coming at it completely differently too, because if it was AIs, I'd just be going all out trying to wreck them. But because there's humans behind it, and there's this balance of you don't want everybody to hate playing the game that you're having fun playing, and everybody will just hate the game if you start just destroying people. So first thing I did is turn on the handicaps, right? So every time I win, I get weaker. And but then what I would do too is I'd be careful who to engage. Like I'd jump to it, like Tim. Let's talk about Tim's approach first, because I think that's going to play into mine. What was Tim's strategy with Jigglypuff?
It was like how like some animals survive like different ways. Some animals will vomit and piss on themselves like to not get eaten, and that's what he does. Like, just like he'd go and hide and just be like, no, that was me actually. He was the go and hide guy. He'd like go into like
he was like a hyena, like kind of a scavenger. So like he would just kind of float around out of reach. Like you could get to him, but it'd be kind of an effort. And he would just watch the four of us just fighting it out. And then when it was done, he'd float down, like pick off the remains. With like, cause I remember one time JT was the last man standing with like 1 life left, and then Tim like puffs down there with 4 lives, and JT's clearly the better player. Like he's wrecking Tim, but just a war of attrition. Like these Jigglypuffs keep dying and Jigglypuffs keep coming back.
A never-ending like assembly line of Jigglypuffs. That was it. Yeah, he's like the hyena. That's a good point. And I was the vomit and piss on myself guy, because like if like you had to run after me, I'm like, oh no, because like you'll toy around with the other people, but you won't fuck around with me a lot of the times. So I'm like, he's about to wreck my shit. So like he's just charging at me from across the map, and I'm like, oh boy. Pose, and I was like, show me your moves, and he like screeches to a halt. He's like,
I like flipped over your head to avoid hitting you. I'm like, and I land like right next to you and go, Pika, Pika.
I was like, I can't resist the pose, because I knew I just pissed and vomited on myself, so I was so pathetic that you wouldn't fight me. But yeah, it's that segued into like a whole other conversation of like competitive games, like besides just that, but like I don't know, StarCraft for example, of like how we would play.
And how will you use psychology or human nature to kind of like as one more weapon in the arsenal?
Yeah.
And we notice that we're both kind of horrible people because we both like profit off of like these terrible emotions. Like if you're playing Dragon Age, right? There's demons that represent like all of the worst aspects of humanity. There's like lust demons and sloth demons and pride demons. Like that's kind of us. We're like terror demons and like despair demons.
Yeah. that is us, because we realized that like we were talking about StarCraft for example. So any RTS in general, and you can take this as, or any competitive game in general, was like some people are aggressive, or we say like cheesy, or like a rush tactic. Like in cards it would be aggro, and that kind of thing. And then some people are more conservative, and they're like in RTS is called like macro, right? So like getting your economies set up and being defensive so that you can rickroll them later, just like face roll your, you can't lose at that point because you're just so powerful. And so the challenge comes at like defending aggro, or early pressure, for example, is another way to say it. And we both, or like you and I both do this differently. Like I'm like super macro oriented. Like I won't build any attack units if I can early. Because I'm focusing on a different win condition, and we were like, what is that win condition? Like, why is it that appeals to me? What am I operating on there? What's the point? Like, why is that attractive to me? And then why is it more attractive for you to go aggro?
Right,
like
and
early
why
pressure.
does it change when we're playing AIs? Because, I'm going to play completely differently if I'm playing a computer. So, like, my win condition is fear. I want to get people off balance. I want to get people to make stupid mistakes because they're afraid. Because, like, for example, with StarCraft, when I'm Zerg, if you know the Zerg, like, you're not afraid of the Zerg. They're not a very strong, like, faction. They never have been. They're
Yeah.
not. They're not that great. But you can make people think you're scarier than you are just by like sleight of hand and illusions. Like you could bury units in places and have them pop up periodically so they see that you're kind of everywhere. You can spread creeps. So it looks like you're farther than you are. And what I like to do
Mm.
is I like to like attack them when they're trying to expand and just really make them think that no matter what happens, if they go out, there's going to be an overwhelming force waiting for them. When in reality, it's just one little like strike team, but it looks like they're everywhere because they're just running around and like burrowing and stuff. So it's like this illusion of superiority because there is no actual superiority. So I try and make them afraid. I prey on their fear. I'm the scarecrow of this Batman like world. Whereas your
Yeah.
win condition is what?
Well, well, even to like give a good example of that, like so David will make a lot of units early, which destroys your economy of Zerg. You want to be like roaches, right? Well, by the
Yeah.
time you find the Zerg, they've got so many. Like you see one, and they've got a million. Like
Mm.
because you don't build just one or two units as Zerg, or you shouldn't, because the whole philosophy is like you're shitty, but there's a lot of them, right?
Mm.
So you shine in the mid game really as Zerg because you've overwhelmed them usually with forces, so you've reached the maximum amount. Because in the late game, if they max out and you max out, their units are better, they win. And early
Yeah.
game, their units are better. You will lose the game if you try to fight. So it's called an all-in, right? Like it means like someone is just trying to win the game early to try to win. So that's what David does. He fakes it. It runs towards their front door with like all these roaches and units, and it's just like roaches, or like like roaches. If you see one, you know the army's coming. So like one little Zergling will start knocking at the door, and they're like, oh fuck, and they're getting ready, right? So at this point, like the Zerg all of a sudden, like from their little fog of war, they can't see beyond their doorstep. Like just tons of Zerg come up, like an overwhelming amount, and they can usually defend it off, right? That's
Yeah.
not your win condition.
Yeah, you'll rarely win that way. Like sometimes you will. Sometimes they just won't be ready for you, and you'll break down the door and win, and like it'll be like an 8-minute game. But usually what happens is they fend it off, but now they're really off balance and they're nervous about poking out again because they don't know how many more of those are out there. When in reality, I just shot my load, and now I'm like going into the macro phase and getting an economy started.
Yeah.
But it's just about like trying to get them scared to push out because they knew how strong they were. They could crush me easily.
Yeah, and I've had this tactic used against me. One time I was playing as Terran, he was playing as Zerg, and he'll just leave his little units outside his door, poke him up every once in a while just to show him like he's still interested in attacking, and you're like, fuck, man, I don't know. Is he building tons of units back there, or what's he doing? And it puts you off on balance because you don't know. Like he could be making tons more units and just really going all in, like in poker, just literally all in. It all comes to this, or he could be back there macroing, and there's no way to tell because you can't get any scouting done. So
Yeah.
that's
And then I remember
Sure.
doing that against this one guy, and I happened to be building a bunch of Mutalisks, and I just stuck them in a corner of the map where I didn't think anyone would bother with them because I was just like,
these are like flying attack units.
yeah. So they're just flying around, and they're just kind of in the corner somewhere, and I'm just making more and sending them that way while I'm doing because you're doing like 100 things at once when you're Zerg, so I'm not really paying attention to them. And then I happen to glance up, and it's like I see these 4 transports full of Marines just flying through, and they just by sheer chance flew through the cloud of Mutalisks that had just been resting in the corner because he was trying to sneak around and attack me from like a weird angle. And so all this guy sees is he's flying, and all of a sudden a swarm of Mutalisks, and it's like I got an achievement unlocked. It was like Rain of Blood, kill like 30 Marines in under 2 seconds because they all just died. Everybody died. No one made it out. And that guy was scared shitless because he doesn't know that was just a random thing. He thinks that the
wasn't
skies
just it.
are infested with Mutalisks because.
Do you remember? I watched that replay. Like you were in the perfect spot every time. There's one where like he sends this random Marine or something to like go scout, and like David had like 5 Zerglings for some reason because he didn't know what to do with them. He had them left over from the beginning, and all of a sudden these Zerglings come out of nowhere and kill his Marine. He's like, oh shit! And then he runs somewhere else, and it just kept happening. And then finally, it's like he's like, fine, I know how to get this guy. If he's everywhere, I'm gonna sneak into the back door. And it just so happened he flew by him. It was all random luck, but this guy after that he was terrified. He started building tanks and like building the wall of like China basically. He's like, I'm never gonna let them in. Oh man, that was awesome.
And that's exactly what you want as Zerg, because if people will leave you alone, if they're too afraid to come out and poke at you, you can become. You just need a lot more resources to win than everyone else does. So you're just gonna spread your disgusting influence across the map, while they're like pulled in there, like shaking and rocking back and forth, and be like, everywhere I go, there's Zerg.
Yeah. So you're
that,
forcing them to overplay because of fear.
Yes, I try and make them make mistakes through fear.
And then I realized, like, I was like,
your thing
totally.
is less about fear and more about what?
Despair. I want to give a condition where there's no way to win for them, and they usually just quit. Like for you, they'll quit like at fear, or they'll just quit trying to expand, and they eventually kill themselves. And for me, it's just despair. Like I love to. What I'll do is it's all about knowledge and sight. So I send out like. So like in StarCraft, for example, I send out overlords everywhere. In a card game like Magic the Gathering, but for me, Hearthstone, I've never played Magic, is I like to do control, control decks.
Like
so
if you're playing Magic, you play blue.
Yeah, my favorite deck in Hearthstone is called Handlock, which just means like you get such huge things out and you taunt them up that there's no way they can get past it, and they just quit because it's despair. They're like, I cannot possibly come back. And so I do that. StarCraft,
You like to break their will.
Yeah, I love to see them flee before me. But in StarCraft, I do that with Zerg. You're like, how could you possibly break someone's will as Zerg? So the only way to do that is to be very greedy in the beginning and then put eyes everywhere and then constantly kill their stuff on the map. So like I'll send out overlords and or little like 1 or 2 little Zerglings everywhere. So I've got tons of information. So like I'll go and sit on their third base. I'll give them their first base right away. I'm like, fine, you can have your expansion, and I'm gonna get 3. And then I just put things everywhere. So like when it's finally time for them to expand, I'll send like a little guy out there and I'll crush that. And then like I'll put like creep all over that base so that they have to wait like minutes before they can possibly put anything down. Because for some reason they don't like putting things down on creep. It won't let you in the game. But like things like that, I like to deny their every time they try to put a third, I just crush it and I crush it and I crush it. Like because I can't win in the end game. You can't as Zerg. I mean you can, but you have to be so much better of a player because you have to be able to kill your whole army, and it's called remaxing, which means you kill your whole army because Zerg's such shit that you just lose your entire army, no problem. Then you make another full army from 0 to 200. It could be because you saved up all that money and all that stuff. You have to be so far ahead, and then send that at them, and that's how you win the game. It's really shitty, but that's the end game is shit. It sucks, and it's stacked against you, so there's no point of doing it unless they take a horrible engagement. They're going to beat that army as well as they beat the first one.
Right.
So it's like kind of like attrition. So I don't do that. I just crush their will in the mid game so that every time they try to sneak somewhere, like because eventually like they have to get a third base to win, so they're like, I gotta do something. So desperation, right? Despair. They're like, I'll do a sneaky expansion, but at this point I put like a Zergling or a Overlord everywhere so that I see that and I'm like, yes, and I let them start building it and I let them get it all the way up, and then I let them start populating it, the sneak expansion, and I just tear it up. And I know it's there the whole time, and I keep poking up with a little Zergling, and I'm like, yes, spend all that money on the expansion. And their hope starts to be like, oh, I'm going to do it, I'm going to make it after all. And then it's just like, Zerg army, and just overwhelm it. Yeah. And then I just wait. I don't even press my advantage, I just wait for them to quit.
So like a despair player is about like shutting down any options they try, like denying them once and for all. So and it's interesting because whereas a fear player is more like somebody who's you can do whatever you want, but I'm relying on you to make mistakes because you're afraid, you're not thinking clearly. Right. So it's interesting because those tendencies, those proclivities, if you will, they follow us into other games too. Like it's not just StarCraft and it's not just Smash Brothers. Like if we're playing Heroes of the Storm, you tend to gravitate to like a Jaina kind of control character where you're shutting people down, or a Stitches where you're grabbing people out of formation, like you're denying them options and like trying to put them off to where whatever they choose, it's going to be wrong because you've got the right answer to it. And right. I tend to like to play Nova, who's a stealth character who just wanders away from the battle, goes to where they think they're safe, and then just snipes somebody in the face and then disappears back in the bushes. And it might not even kill you. Like it might just take off some of your life, but now you're off balance because you don't know when you're going to get sniped in the face again. So it's just these little things I do to make them kind of scared to leave or scared to go out and play. And whereas you're just shutting people's options down. So those same kind of tendencies, me preying off of fear and you making people despair, they follow us into other games too.
Yeah, which I think is really interesting. And I wonder if there are other win conditions. I know ours, that's kind of what we're pushing for, is this, I don't know, psychological crushing factor, forcing someone to either quit or someone to misplay, right? Yeah. Like, people won't join a team fight if they have to run through a lot of, like, dark woods in Heroes of the Storm. They won't join the team fight if they know that Nova just could be waiting there. And in reality, you're across the map in the team fight, but they don't know that. And so they're like, I'm just not gonna go. Or they'll teleport back to the main base and run all the way there from there because they don't want to. They're like, I can't possibly take a chance.
Or they'll be so twitchy and jumpy that like I'll just throw out a hologram and they'll just all unload their old son and like, oh, there's just no one, and then like
that's fun. Like I like to play style. It's just not my natural one. My natural one is definitely like, yeah, despair. That's why I have stitches, right? And I get gorge. So like it's this guy throws out a hook and from like forever away, someone's like, I made it. I made it out of the fight. My whole team died, but I'm okay. And they're running. And they're like, I'm even at full health. There's nothing they can do. I'm way ahead. And I'll throw this hook, which it literally hooks the person and pulls them towards you. I'll throw a hook from like across the map, and I get the longer hooks so that I get like really get the despair factor. So they really get so far away, and they're on a horse and they're running. They're like, I got it. And this hook's like out of the fog of war behind them. So it's like this hook's pulling going towards them.
They look down. They're clawing the air as they fly back.
Yeah, and it's like, it's just one guy though. It's just a big old tank, a big old fat guy. He can't do a whole lot of damage. And then I eat them. And then I walk them back, and I teleport even further back behind my wall, and then dump them out there where my team is, and they just wreck them. And like I love those moments. The absolute, you can see it like in the character. Sometimes they don't even move whenever you gorge them out. They just stand there because they know it's over. Like they rarely even fight because they're like, I give up. I get it. Oh
yeah,
man, it's so
and
fun.
it's interesting because trying to find out what makes me like certain games, like it's always hard. It's really hard to put a finger on why you like a game, right?
Yeah.
Or like what kind of games you will like. Like if I see a game being described, I'm like, would I like that game? I can't tell if I'd enjoy it. I think I'm honing in on it using this lens. I think any game that lets me prey on somebody's deepest fears, because I'm a horrible person, like Shadows of Mordor I loved because I got to just like creep around like a little creeper above the orcs, just waiting, and then wait for the optimal moment to strike, and then like as one's fleeing I just shoot him in the leg, and then he's like limping away and I come up to him and I just lift him up and I go, you tell your friends, and I just throw him down. He's like, oh! He's running away crying, and I'm like, yes, and then you get rewarded with that because people start talking about you like you're some kind of ghost who's haunting them, and like people are disappearing. Like if you
can hear them when you're hiding. Yeah, you creep up. Yeah, the patrol got taken down by the ghost again.
The grave walker walks among us. Don't stray too far from the campfire, and they're just so scared. And I'm like, yes, have fear. So games like that, games like Assassin's Creed.
Well, that's funny. Speaking of Shadows of Mordor, before we move on, you told me whenever you started playing it, you were like, oh yeah, I do this thing where I scare them and I send them off, to say, you send your leader a message, and you throw them. I do that all the time to everyone. And I was like, I did that for a little bit, but it wasn't my style. Honestly, what I did was just kill every single captain for days. Like I just despaired, just to the point where if you got promoted, you're next. And like I wanted them to know that there is no point in even fighting against this because I will crush you. And I rarely sent a death message because it was like counterproductive because the person gets stronger. For my win condition was to completely wipe out all the things.
Yeah, and I love making them stronger because it makes it all the more satisfying when I do arrive, because they overcompensate. They're like, oh, you thought you could scare me? I've got a whole army with me. And I'm like, it's not gonna matter. And they're like, oh, it makes them so scared. I love it.
Oh man, yeah, and I love those moments of like you run up and there's like a boss and he walks up and he's got all his henchmen and you're like, freeze time because I'm a weird ghost gravewalker, and then you just like shoot them all in the face with your ghost arrows, and then when you come out of it they're all dead and it's just the guy and you're like, hi, like let's do this thing. It's just awesome. Oh man, I love those moments of like.
What are the games I've loved that have come out recently? Like Shadows of Mordor, Assassin's Creed, Batman, Arkham Anything. These are all games that like make you prey on the fear. Mark of the Ninja. These are all games where you get, if you want to be a real sicko, you can just make people terrified. Like I always used in Mark of the Ninja, like my go-to loadout was like the terror gas that would just make them freak out and start shooting each other, and, like, shoot the air and like like I love that point where you've broken somebody's courage to the point that they're just shooting at whatever moves and they're just freaking out, and you're like, yes. Like I really do have that kind of sick obsession with using the fear of the enemy against them. It's a very Batman kind of mentality, and Batman, as I've already established in previous episodes, is a psychopath and a terrible person.
Yeah. So if we were Sith Lords, then we'd be two different kinds.
Yes.
But mine, oh shit, what was I gonna say? I was just thinking about that Mark of the Ninja, but mine was more like, delete one person, delete another person until the point where it was just like the one guy, and then I love just like showing yourself at that point because you're like, yes, I'm here. What will you do? And they're like, I can't do anything. And you're like, yes, that's right, you cannot. And you have no option. Walk towards them. just watch the despair. I love watching the moment in any competitive game where the person just gives up. Like I love that whenever they're just like, there's this, you see like in Heroes it's more obvious than like cards, because in card games it becomes pretty obvious because they'll just start like throwing random shit out there. They misplay because they're just desperate. And then but in Heroes of the Storm it's fun. Like any MOBA is probably this way, like League of Legends or anything else. There's a point where the character just stops moving, and you're like, yep, that's it. Like I told you.
They just stop coming out of their base.
Yeah, or they do, like or it's just it's great. I love that despair factor, and it's funny because I think my son might be playing more like you because I let him play Batman in the Arkham Asylum, and so he's and he's doing the stealth phase, and in the stealth phase he's just sitting on top of these rafters, and all he does is take smoke bombs and throw them at people. I mean, for days. I mean, for like sometimes an hour. And he just throw a batarang, hit someone, and they fall down. They're like, what? And they shoot, and the pulse goes up. And then he like takes a smoke bomb, he throws them on. He took a glue grenade and stuck this one guy to the wall. And he's just doing that from this one raft.
Just trolling him.
He thinks that's the game. I was like, well, you're supposed to take him out eventually. And he's like, no. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Just like to torment them.
He just loves the fear. It's so funny.
I love the theater, and I used to love stealth games when I was a kid, like just being out in the woods and like seeing if you could creep up on someone without them noticing you and like scare them or whatever. Like I had siblings, so I always had plenty of opportunities to like leap from the shadows and like startle somebody because I was a little jerk. But like I think this goes back as far as I can remember. I love that look of terror when they're like, I don't know what the correct response is. Is it fight or is it flight or is it freeze?
I wonder if little Bruce Wayne was like that. He's always like scaring the shit out of Alfred. And he's just like hanging out, and like he's just like, Alfred, I'd like some tea. And he's just waiting there. He's just waiting. Alfred comes in. He doesn't give a shit if it's gonna give him a heart attack. Bruce Wayne's a dick.
Give me the tea.
Like, yeah. Oh man. Anyway,
so like looking back on your despair, like your love of controlling the enemy's options to where they have no options. Do you see a pattern in the games that you enjoy from like that element?
I like fighter games for that exact reason. Like, I like having every tool in the kit to shut things down. Like, there's this part of me that gets really happy whenever I drop the perfect card, and I think everybody gets that, but for me, those are the moments that are my favorite. Dropping the perfect card for what they have, and I'll hold on to it giddily, even if I misplay sometimes because I'm so excited about that feeling, of like, I'm like, no, I'm not going to use it now. I'm not going to use that big game hunter. I'm going to wait until they put down their whatever, like their, Jiraxis or something, or like, that kind of thing. And I'll put cards in there. I'll actively take out a better card just to get the Jiraxis killer. It's called a Demonic Smite or something like that, where they become this super demon, and then literally one card that costs 2 mana destroys them and wins the game because it kills a demon, and they became a demon. It's hilarious. I'll misplay just because I love that feeling so much. But fighter games are the same way. Like, I love to play like
having fun as Little Mac because he's got like the down B counter move, so someone attacks you can counter punch. He's got the forward B where he leaps over projectiles and punches. Like, he's got like an answer to everything people do
on the ground. Yeah, exactly. I like that, and I like in fighter games. I love to get like the defensive, like the Juggernaut types. Like a menacing like. Okay, so it's like the feeling of Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2, whenever you're Vader and you're walking through Kashyyyk, this forest village of Kashyyyk. It's just a slow walk of like, this is coming, and then
like
they're
inevitable,
like,
inevitable doom.
Yeah,
like I know. When you play as Bane in the DC fighter.
Yeah, I plays Bane there because like I'm like, you're getting it, and there's moves he can use to get past like all their projectiles and stuff. It's like this rush. And then, and I love the moment of like, it's like this all-in moment where when you finally reach him, you finally get your hands on him literally, then you do Venom, so you just pump in all that like green stuff all over yourself. You're like, and you grab hold of him, you pump yourself full, and you're like, you're getting the combo, and then you just give it to him, and they hate it, and then you get him in a corner, and there's that moment of despair where they're like, I can't possibly get out because he can grab people out of the air and slam them on the ground, and then if they try to get past you, you're a Juggernaut. They can't possibly get out.
Your fight style sounds kind of rapey.
Yeah, I guess it is. It's the same sort of thing of like control and despair. I think.
And like dominance.
I don't know. Yeah. I get it. I get the whole monkey instinct of like you are mine now, like that idea. One of my friends used to say, remember CJ? He used to, whenever he achieved this in a game, he'd always say, because we would play natural selection, and there was this one guy who would go like Fade, so you can like evolve into these bigger creatures, and this one's like an Aliens from the movie Aliens, It looks kind of like that. And it costs a lot of money to do, but when you do it, you're powerful. But if you die, then oh crap, you just lost. You use up all your money. It's really an all-in kind of mid-game strat to try to say I'm not gonna save up for the late game. I'm just gonna go this. And he killed this one guy who did it twice. He saved up enough to do it twice. And then we just walked in, and after he killed him, he shoots him down and dies. Then he goes, grab my belt loop. Your name is Tiffany. That was like his joke, which I guess is kind of a rapey joke for prison rape stuff.
Yeah.
Which I guess for guys, since we're joking about guys, rape, it's okay for rape culture. I don't know. I don't know feminism well enough, but apparently I don't have any problem with that. Anyway, yeah, so that was like his. It's that idea of like, give up, you're done. You know, you're done trying. This is over. I just love that, and having them prematurely do that, oh, it's so great. Like whenever we're playing heroes and they just hide inside of their spawn because they're done. I love it. And then there's this one time where there was a Jaina. They're all hiding inside their spawn, and the whole point is to beat their core. It's like their home base, and just to beat it up and blow it up. And while you're there, like we were doing that, and they were all hiding in spawn because they were just done. They were just done, and I was just so giddy. I started dancing and stuff. But eventually, the Jaina, like I just saw the tip of her staff like hanging out, and I was like, I wonder if I could hook her from there. So I throw this hook, and it catches her, pulls her towards me, and I gorge her, and I blink back just to be a dick. I mean, I could have beaten her right there, but I went all the way back, and I made it to like a third of the map back before I gorged her out, and then I just slowly beat her up as she walked past, and then she just stops like right near her tower. It's nice to kill her. Moments of the best. Oh man, just breaking someone's will, you know. It's very Sith-like, I guess.
Yeah.
Darth Vader, and I guess you'd be more like Revan or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just the not knowing when someone's gonna strike, and just always being perpetually like high anxiety. Like if my opponent feels high anxiety, then I don't feel high anxiety because I'm the hunter instead of the hunted. So it's a more calming experience for me, and I just love the idea of like, what's gonna happen now? What's gonna happen now? Boom! Ah! Running away or whatever you do.
Yeah, to get myself into that Nova mentality, that character you're talking about, I would tell myself that I'm the hunter, and then I would go, because that's what you are. Like you're the moment of terror.
Yeah,
that everyone has.
Easily, just like with the Zerg, Nova could easily be the hunted. Like she's very vulnerable. She's got no escape. She's got no kind of vaults or anything. Like she's just on her own. If you get caught out of cloak, you're gonna die. So you have to turn that weakness into a strength. You have to be like, okay, so yes, I will die instantly if someone tries to fight me. So I have to make myself so scary that they don't try and fight.
Yeah.
There's been times with Nova where if people would have turned and fought me instead of running, because oftentimes they'll just keep running hoping to get out of range of my sniper rifle, but if they would just turn and just beat me up, I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. But they're just like, oh god, what's going to happen?
Yeah, and just like Zerg, that's the appropriate response, is to just wreck their shit. Like, as soon as I see a Nova decloak, because I played Nova to like level 10, I get it. I'm like, oh, well, she blew her load, time to fuck her up. She's dead. Yeah. If you just chase her, she's done. But same thing with Zerg, like if they come at your wall early, you literally just go, all right, and you put down your wall as soon as you defend it, and you just send everything, including your SCVs, your workers. It doesn't matter, because you're going to win.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of thing. Yeah, it's all operating on fear. I wonder if there's other win conditions like false hope or something, you know, like other kind of evil ideas. Yeah, like let someone.
Well, there's the there's like the treachery win condition. Like I think that's Tim's win conditions. He tries to like turn everybody against each other and then just swoop in at the end. Because even like board games, like playing Lords of Waterdeep, like he's the guy who's always like, no, don't let him do that. He's playing mind games with you. He's trying to manipulate. Because he knows that everybody else at the table is super like proud of their intelligence and super like, no one's gonna manipulate me. No one plays me, because it's like a dick measuring contest for your brain if someone like manipulates you. So there's been times where Tim has turned like you against me or me against you, because he's like, you gonna let him do that? You see what he's doing though, don't you? He's just playing you. Like he's taking advantage. You're like, no, fuck you. And like he'll do this weird worm tongue thing. Like he's got the Grima worm tongue thing where he'll just like plant seeds of doubt and like have allies turn on each other and then just sit in the background and be like, I'm just a harmless little funny guy. Like he plays Jigglypuff, you know, like these characters who are completely like harmless, and you almost feel bad beating on him. He's like, oh, I'm Tim. And then at the end, he's like, fools, you underestimated me.
He did that. We played a free-for-all one time, a long time ago, at a LAN party in StarCraft, and I accidentally, you know, I just made units and I pushed forward as Zerg, and when I did, I happened to, you know, there's a 1 out of 12 chance I'm gonna hit him, but I did, and I got to his wall and I started wrecking his shit, like, and beating up his expansion. He's like, "What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Look, I'm not even a threat. Look, they're real. You know, they're gonna kill you if you."
Yeah, he's big on the "I'm not a threat. Look over there. That's the real threat." That's Tim's mode of operation.
He did that, and he was like, "Look how much you're wasting on this wall." And I was like, "He's kind of right, because with Zerg, your paper units, you are losing units fast." I mean, I was gonna win, but I was like, "Yeah, you're right." He's like, "You've crippled me. I'm never coming back from this. Don't worry about it. Jeez, just let me go." And I was like, yeah, he's right. I can crush him later. And then, of course, battle cruisers. Like, in the middle of, like, the regular fight between me and Brian, we're fighting in the middle over, like, the actual objectives, which is, like, the minerals. And all of a sudden, 3 battle cruisers come up, and I have no answer, because Zerg can't shoot air unless you upgrade the shit out of your units.
Yeah, and so Tim's sitting there unmolested.
Oh, my God. Yeah, and he just sat there and wrecked my base, and I was like, you piece of shit. And he's like, ah!
He's like every villain cliche where like the hero beats him and he's on the ground going, "Please, I surrender. I'm of no threat to you." And he's like, "Very
Yeah.
well." And he turns around and he comes out with this knife. It's like, "Ah, you fool!" Like, he is a cardboard cutout. Like I don't know what like despair, hope. His would be treachery probably.
Treachery. That's awesome. I wonder if false hope or anything else is also one. Because I don't like to give them any hope, but I know people who like to toy with them. Give them like a little bit of like, let them like think they're winning. And then,
I want people to feel like they're doing well. I hate for people to die embarrassed.
yeah, so it's like it would be like this. Like if you had like a bunch of resources. So like in Heroes of the Storm, it's gonna be either your mana or your cooldowns, right? It's like letting people fight for what. This is how some people play Arthas. Like Arthas is like this big old tank that runs across, and he's got a couple tools where he can do quick burst damage. And when I was being taught how to play Arthas, the guy said, "All right, so what you do is you fight for a little bit, get them to about here, and then you blow all your cooldowns and finish them off." And I don't do that. Like I never do that. I always blow them right away so that they run away. Like, and it's better legitimately to get the kill, but I just love
you want to lull them into a sense of security and then like make them make them overextend and then jump in.
Like false hope. Yeah, and I don't. That's like the opposite of what I love. I'll blow all my resources right away and scare the shit out of people. Not scare them. I don't really. Yeah, shock and awe, exactly. Just show them, be like, you're done. Just let me win so that I can move on to the next guy. I love that stuff, like despair. So I'll always play a game and try to make it to the very end game as quickly as I can, so that it's just like a give up. Like I can't possibly beat this, and they just quit.
That's how I do with computers. Sometimes I like to torture them that way, where I'm just like, I'll leave like one little person alive and just see how many units I can make. But with people, I don't, because they tend to get frustrated and not want to play again unless they feel like it's over quickly or they're doing well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, crushing their will.
I wonder what JT's would be, what his Sith value would be.
That's what we should call this episode, the Sith values of gaming. I don't know. What are the Sith values? I can't remember them all.
I like the Sith code.
Yeah.
Well, there's the strong should rule the weak. But even just these like points of darkness, like I think JT seems just very straightforward. Like he just gets in there and he tries his best. Like if you look at how he plays Smash Brothers, he just jumps in there and he plays to win. He's not making alliances. He's not worried about like who's fighting who. He's just jumping in there and trying to beat everybody. And then like Here's a Storm, he's just like, all right, let's do this. Let's do this. Like he's just making strategic calls, but he's not really playing off of any psychology. He's just saying like this is the best move to make. So he's almost like a very by the book kind of player.
Yeah, I wonder if should have probably done a functional analysis before I started playing StarCraft 2, because Zerg is not the race for me. I like modular, like, things where I've always got the answer. Despair, like let them throw themselves upon me, or let them do whatever they want. Yes, let them come. That's me. I'm like Sauron. Like that's how I like playing, like sitting my tower, basically shutting, like just putting out the tendrils and having them like overextend and just despair, just crush them in time. Because if you crush them right away, they just get upset. For me, it's not sweet enough.
Yeah, you'd probably be happier as a Protoss player, all things considered, and just like warp in an entire legion of your best troops at any given time.
The Golden Fleet, yes, that would be the best for me. But I just love Zerg so much. I love that. I like the fear factor too. It's fun, but they're just so mobile. I love to be everywhere because then you can crush them, I guess, differently. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't know. I guess you guys can. I don't know how long we are, but probably up on time. Just let us know about your different kinds, because I'm kind of curious about this. We kind of stumbled on this.
Are we just sociopaths, or does everybody have some kind of dark impulse they use to destroy other players psychologically before they beat them mechanically?
Yeah, and this actually, we stumbled upon this after like a long conversation, so like it doesn't seem immediately obvious. It wasn't to me, at least, when I was like, oh yeah, I guess I do this,
Yeah, I just started saying all kinds of patterns of like the games I enjoy, my game style, like the characters I select. It's very. I just love to startle people into making a mistake. I just love to use that fear.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on this in the future moving forward. But for now, I guess we get done with this section.
Listener feedback?
Yeah, let's do listener feedback. All right, this is the listener feedback session where we talk about our interactions with the community. We had a lot of activity on the Facebook page, and it's been like 2 weeks, so
Yes.
it's amount to talk about here.
Yeah, we had a message from Brian who says, this podcast has gotten me into video gaming again. I started listening shortly after the recommendation from Order 66, kept listening mostly for the psychology and literature discussion. I haven't really played video games since just before the Wii first came out. And then some combination of being immersed in so much video game discussion and the release of Super Smash Bros. Convinced me to buy a Wii U. Glad to be back in the fold. I just bought Child of Light from the Nintendo eShop after the glowing hee recommendation from the top 10 games of 2014 episode. Love the art style. Anyways, thanks for the engaging content and community, guys.
Awesome! Wow, yeah, that's great, man. That's one of the best things. One of the best feelings is having people take video games a little more legitimately or seriously.
And bring a gamer back in the fold with the Wii U, the system I keep telling you to buy, Jeremiah. So
I will never do things you ask. I will never do things you ask.
And yeah, that's amazing. So if you just want to copy and paste that into an iTunes or Stitcher review, that'd be super helpful.
yeah, that'd be helpful for sure. But thanks for the interaction anyway. Yeah, we had a lot of things on the Facebook page. It was kind of a heavy news week, but one of them I posted. Probably should have put it on the news section. But Total War Warhammer is going to be a thing. And
yes.
I'm going to lose my shit. Because I love Warhammer games that are good, not the bad ones, but that goes without saying.
You also announced the new Fire Emblem is going to be a thing.
Yes. Oh, man, I know. It was both in one day. Cleaning up your pants after one shit is bad enough. That was a good day.
Should have gotten it all out.
That was pretty fun. Yeah, and there's...
We had a good discussion about anime recommendations since you've been on Death's Bed watching lots of anime.
Yeah, watching a Full Metal Alchemist, and I found myself. Remember when I first started watching Full Metal Alchemist? On your recommendation, for some reason, I actually followed it. I complained about something. Do you remember what it was?
Was it how emotive the characters were with the and the faces and the weird sweat drops and stuff?
Yeah, that was it. I found myself warmed up to them when I was rewatching some of the episodes because I forgot where I went off, and I was watching them and I was like, oh, look, he's doing that thing, and I was like, whoa, maybe I'm becoming an anime guy. And that was the moment where I was like, maybe I'll like other animes now, because that was one of the things that pushed me off. So I just decided to ask.
Now that you're looking at it as the extension of Kabuki Theater, it makes it make more sense why they do that.
Yeah, exactly. The overplaying.
Well, did any of those recommendations strike your fancy for your next show?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try High School of the Dead first, because it's by that Attack on Titan guy. It seems like a good one, and I watched 3 episodes now, and it's really scenic. It's really cool. The way that it's cool. It's a bit heavy on the whole. I guess they call it fan service.
Yeah. No, it's a fun show, but it's not a show you want someone walking in and seeing you watching, because
exactly.
No, I just like zombie stuff. And there's these slow motion boobs bouncing in the background.
Yeah, so that's gonna be awkward. So if I don't do that, then Sword Art Online I also want to watch, but yeah, I'll probably watch because I hear a lot of people talking about that one. But there are a ton there. People just went crazy. It was crazy. Claymore I want to finish.
Yeah.
But it's so sick that I can't possibly let my kids see it. So not that any of the other ones aren't. It's just that's why I haven't been watching a whole lot of.
If you like sick, dark death campaign stuff, Claymore's good, and also Berserk is really, really good. If you like despair, there's definitely an ambiance of despair in those.
my campaign. There's another time despair comes up.
yeah. We felt helpless for most of your campaign, so you must have been loving it.
Oh man, yeah. After every session, I just had a little spanking session.
that came out kind of awkwardly.
Yeah, it did. I know. I was looking for the
spanking session. That's what kids call them now.
A funny phrase. Part of I think jokes is about twisting things around. Earlier we said the stick thing. And I said yes, I like a multi-stick equestrian. That's a funnier phrase than if I said I like the horses to have more than one stick. So I was trying to think of that and I failed. I failed hard.
That's fine.
Also, maybe you should bring the next one up. The newest one.
Newest what?
Interaction on the fan book.
Facebook. The voice actors?
Yes. Really, what's that about?
Okay, so you love voice acting. I love voice acting. It's cool. There is a voice actress she's been in a lot of things, actually. I didn't know she was in so many things, but her name is Tara Strong. She was in Rugrats.
Yeah.
She played Batgirl. She played Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. She played Timmy Turner from Fairly Odd Parents and Raven from Teen Titans. But most importantly, for the context of this conversation, she played Harley Quinn in the Arkham Asylum games. And you are kind of a fan of Harley Quinn. Would you say that she's probably your supervillain crush?
Yes, hands down. Like Poison Ivy, meh. Like who are the others? Catwoman, meh. But Harley Quinn, I was always like, yes. I don't. Maybe that's normal. Maybe it's not. Whatever that says about me, it's true.
Well, not only is Tara big into voice acting, she's also a bit of a cosplayer. And she posted on Instagram or Twitter or something. She posted some pictures of herself dressed as Harley Quinn for, the public's consumption, and they are quite attractive pictures if you're into sexy clowns. I don't know why you like Harley Quinn, to be honest. Like, she's a weird character, but
oh my gosh,
she's a sexy clown, and that's just, I don't know. It's like boning a female Joker. It just feels gross.
It feels awesome. That's what you're trying to say.
But yeah, so that was posted by one of our fans, and I was like, oh, what have they unleashed? Jeremiah's gonna love this.
I'm just gonna stay away from that topic. I'm a married man. She's like 41, but
is she really?
She is, yeah.
Wow.
Does she look it? No.
No, she looks much younger. She looks younger than us.
This is starting to get creepy, so we'll move on. But
what if she were like a Timmy Turner cosplay from Fairly Odd Parents? Would you still be like super turned on?
Yeah. No.
Or like. No. She cosplayed as that giant horrifying baby from Spirited Away, one of her other roles.
No, it's not the one. Not the one. Don't take it fancy.
Twilight Sparkle for My Little Ponies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
clearly, obviously.
Not one of those fairies. But yeah, it was pretty fun. So that's on the Facebook page. Have fun with that. Watch us get like 30 new people coming on tomorrow, like requesting to be in the group.
Exactly.
But other than that, I have been in talks with a guy who does a little bit of graphic design. I'm looking to maybe get an overlay for our new shows now that we're doing more of a, camera type thing, YouTube type presence. We're going to be kicking that off with the new podcast whenever we get enough back episodes to put it on iTunes. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much the interactions. There's quite a bit more, I guess, on the Facebook page. So yeah, join up if you guys want to be part of the discussion or look at pictures. It's Just kidding. It's facebook.com/groups/Game Theory Podcast. Or you can follow us on Twitter. We've got a ton of new followers this week. I don't know what the hell's going on. We missed a week, and suddenly we get like 12 new followers. It's
very mixed message.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like at twitter.com/GameTheoryPod. Or you can send us an email at thegametheorypodcast@gmail.com.
And please take some time out of your busy day to leave us an iTunes review or a Stitcher review. Stitcher's kind of hard to leave reviews on. It's kind of a pain if you're doing it from your phone. But iTunes is easy, so just sign in, leave us a review, give us 5 stars or 6 stars or 7 stars, but the max is 5, so just do 5 and just tell us in parentheses that it meant to be 7. But but those do really help us get more visibility on iTunes. Surprisingly, there are a lot of podcasts about gaming in iTunes, so it's easy to get lost in the mix if you don't have a lot of good reviews.
It's true. Yeah, definitely drop us one there. And I know how it is. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts I don't review, but I've started to remedy that. So I've been leaving reviews now.
That's called modeling. You're modeling the behavior you want to see.
Oh, thank you. Is that some sort of psychology? That's crazy.
Yes. Allow me to introduce you to the concept of human behavior.
I love it. Well, anyway. Yeah, so definitely. And for anyone who has already, thank you for your reviews. We really appreciate them. And other than that, I guess we'll talk about next episode. Next episode, I think we're going to talk about like gaming, because we had the LAN party, or just a gaming party in general, up in Colorado. And we talked about maybe doing like a, the advantages of playing in-house, like together, like actual couch type co-op rather than online. Because we had a lot of revelations and wanted to kind of think about that a little bit out loud.
So it's going to be the future of the LAN party, what role it's going to play in this world of increased connectivity.
Yeah, because it was a lot different than like some of my first LAN parties, like remembering back on those.
Yeah, when we're all networking our computers together and.
Yeah, everybody's like, "What's the IP address again?" Yeah, it was crazy. But with this, it's just totally different. So
Yeah, some of our
yeah.
younger listeners will be probably confused during that episode because I feel like LAN parties are a thing of the '90s more than anything else. But we will talk about that next week.
Yes, and I'm gonna have an opposing view on that. Like Dave and I actually disagreed on this one, so it should be
So all
interesting.
those
We'll
of you
try to
who are
change each
waiting
other's.
for waiting for us to disagree on something, this will be your episode.
It just happened because fuck that guy.
I'm still on the line right now. I can hear you.
Oh! In that case, well, I guess we should probably sign off. Just don't have a sign off. So,
Till next week, keep posting pictures of cosplay of Harley Quinn.
are we still doing the awkward sign off?
Yeah, trying to be really awkward.
Hey, I'm just gonna click on Facebook real quick and follow this link. Whoa.